Well, there's been a severe outbreak of meningitis in the Tyne district of the Bunafu region, and this has been confirmed as pneumococcal, a more deadly strain of the disease. So far, 7 people have died from the outbreak. The head of public health at the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Bedu Sarkodie, tells Joy News it's the worst form of the disease to be recorded in Ghana's history. He, however, says public education has so far intensified to contain spread.
What we have in time, we have confirmed pneumococcal, and initially they reported 12 cases, including 6 deaths. Fatality at that time was about 50%. I think for now we have about 30 cases for 7 deaths. So with time, the fatality has come down. Now the awareness creation has started intensively, and then the people are now reporting early. Then also management at the health facility has also heightened.
I asked you if it's the first we have experienced this type in Ghana.
There have been some sporadic cases, but then this to the extent of about 30 cases, including 7 deaths. For this pneumococcal, it appears to be the first time. But then that's not to say that the first case of pneumococcal meningitis in country. Periodically, particularly in the children.
The figures.
I think that is what we have, which to that extent, to that magnitude.
And as a caution, Dr. Bedu Sarkodie is asking the public to practice cough etiquette and also avoid crowded places. He's also asking that people report immediately to the nearest health facility if they experience any form or any type of symptoms of the disease.
Reasons why the organism should penetrate the barrier, which is the protective barrier that prevents them from entering the bloodstream and further going into the settling on the meninges. And those conditions that promote the invasion include the dry weather, the harsh weather conditions, and the sandy nature of the air and the lack of humidity. I think these are the things. It makes the throats crack, and then based on the throats having cracked, and then the abrasions and the various lesions in the throat, the germs at this time, the meningococcus or any bacteria that is causing the infection would penetrate through and break the barrier, get to the bloodstream and settle on the meninges. So these are the conditions that make it possible for the organism to infiltrate and break into the protective barrier and then cause the infections.
Is it hereditary?
These are infections. So the infections, they are within the environment, settle in the throat, and when somebody coughs or speaks, we are very close to somebody, he coughs, sneezes at you, then from the throat, then you also inhaled some of these germs.
So it's easily spread?
Yes, indeed. Depending on the type, it can easily spread, particularly the Neisseria, which has potential for mass outbreaks, and when it happens to affect a particular area with the prevailing environmental conditions, then it can spread easily from one person to the other.
So is there a particular thing that I should watch out for, a particular symptom that one should watch out for before you know that you have this disease, this infection?
Yes, indeed. Meningitis typically presents with fever, headache, neck pain, neck stiffness, and then there's a condition you call photophobia. They don't like light. Like if somebody having shown light on you, then you have severe reaction to light, and they have a severe detest for light. I mentioned 3 main bacteria that cause meningitis, and I mentioned the Haemophilus influenza, strep pneumonia, and then Neisseria. The strep pneumonia has potential for high death rate.
Is that the one you call the pneumococcal?
That's the pneumococcal. It has a high death rate for the affected. And it can be as high as about 50% of the people being affected dying out of the disease. However, the good thing about that is the potential to cause massive outbreaks is not common or very typical with the strep pneumonia or the pneumococcal.
But the CSM has the potential to spread.
Has potential to cause massive outbreaks, but then the death rate or the fatality out of that is not as high as we have with the pneumococcal. Okay.
So when one has the pneumococcal, what's the survival rate, the percentage at which we know this person will survive?
The survival rate for the pneumococcal, I mentioned that it can go as high as 50%. That will mean that if the fatality is 50%, the survival rate is about 50-50. But then when treatment starts early, it can come down and the survival can go as high as up to about 70 to 80%.
Well, the latest outbreak of meningitis, and this time being reported in Tyne, the Bunafu region, and we're already sending correspondents on the ground. We'll bring you a lot more updates in the course of the day. Now, let's move our attention to Parliament, where some minority members of the House are raising questions about the latest fuel price increases following the passage of the Energy Sector Levies Bill, saying the increases that have been implemented is not what they were made to believe, and that was really not what was brought before them to approve. And the bill was introduced under a certificate of urgency on the last day of sitting in December. Some minority members, including Otafu Member of Parliament, Dr. Anthony Akutuose, and the Member of Parliament for Adansiasokwa, Katie Hammond, they have first raised concerns on the floor and were told by the Deputy Finance Minister that the tax was going to result in a decrease in prices. The House eventually approved the bill, resulting in an almost 30% increment in the prices of some petroleum products. And some members of the Mines and Energy Committee are questioning the latest increases. Joy News parliamentary correspondent Elty John Brobe has been going through the act and says it appears contrary to the claims of the minority. He spoke with Israel Lai on Joy News Prime.
The Energy Sector Levies Bill 2015, it contains everything that government is communicating now. What I can understand from the point of the minority is that they were not given ample time to scrutinize the bill because it came under a certificate of urgency after it was first referred to the Energy and the Finance Committee to consider it on the 21st of December. Now, this was passed at the time Parliament was in the process of debating the appropriation bill and the $1 billion Euro bond, and was also about to go on recess. So there wasn't much time for anybody to consider anything beyond what was before Parliament. So even though the document was presented on the floor by the chairman of the Finance Committee and the Mines and Energy Committee, Amadou Sorogo, and seconded by Katie Hammond, there was no protestation on the floor of Parliament regarding this particular issue. That's how come it passed off without any controversy. It was later that people, went through the document that they came to the realization that perhaps what we approved on the floor was much deeper than what we were told. Because if you want to go to the document here, it talks about the fact that they needed to pass this bill at the time because fuel prices were going to go up on Wednesday, 23rd December 2015. Basically because the road fund components on the price of petroleum product had gone up from 27 to 40 pesos on a liter of fuel. Right. And then also, there was also the introduction of a 5 Ghana peso on diesel and LPG as a price stabilization recovery margin. It goes on and on to the 9th point, which talks about also introduction of 5 Ghana pesos per liter on petrol, diesel, and other issues. So this was the main concern for members of Parliament, and for them, the increase was going to be very marginal. So therefore, there wasn't the need for them to protest.
It was a rehearsal of lamentations that failed to reach any decision on a reduction in utility price increases. And that is how the Industrial and Commercial Workers Union, the ICU, is describing the first round of talks with government over organized labor's demand to reverse recent price hikes in electricity and water. Well, the meeting at the Flaxa Files was also attended by the Trades Union Congress, the TUC, and the General Secretary of the ICU, Solomon Kute, told Joy News They were mainly inundated with challenges facing government, for which reason the upward reviews in the utility tariffs could not be reversed.
Well, you could see the give and take on the issues. If you look on the side of the stakeholders, that is GridCo, ECG, water, they really have got challenges, okay? Challenges that if we don't take care, they would ground to a halt and nothing can happen again in this country. Then on the other side, the equation must all the time be balanced. If you take that of labor as well, and you take that of the employer, this time around, labor has teamed up with the employer, because without the employer, we cannot be there. The pressure and the burden over there is also collapsing the businesses. So which one do we take and which one do we hold? So with I would call it a rehearsal of lamentations of problems on the other side. They lamented on their position, we also lamented on our position, and with the 2 hours that we sat in there, it came out that, look, let's re-engage again. So we believe 1 week interval should be okay for both parties to reflect deeply. Well, employers have given a signal that if this thing should continue this way, already our multinational companies that we have here, they've started ceding away some of their products to Cote d'Ivoire and nearby countries, where ostensibly power is cheaper, power is better than here it is now. So it means we are getting lines of our various ports shut. We are getting workers also becoming redundant on the job. And if this will happen again, then it means we are going to see real redundancies being flashed on our face.
Well, the concerns are steep, and as a result, private businesses, they continue to lament the negative implication of the new withholding taxes on their operations. Indigenous distilling company, Casapreco, is the latest to add its voice to the current concerns. The managing director of the company, Richard Ajay, is worried the current development, if not reverse, may have or may affect job creation in the country. He spoke to Joy Business when a group of students from Harvard Business School in the United States of America embarked on a field trip to the company's premises.
Taxes are imposed on businesses, certainly our profitability goes down a bit. But as a company, we cannot say that we will not operate because of the taxes. I mean, once the government implements the law, we just have to oblige. But certainly, it hurts the business in a way, because as a government, we feel local companies like Casapreco should be helped more instead of imposing more taxes on it. But for sure, taxes does affect our profitability.
And before we go, the Accra Region Office of the Driver Vehicle and Licensing Authority, the DVLA, has seen a return of the long queues of vehicles which usually form at the beginning of each year, mainly of owners eager to have 2016 number plates on their vehicles. And the queues are so long, they spill over right onto the highway adjacent the DVLA offices all the way to the presence of the 37 Military Hospital. Joy News' Justice Beidou, who has been observing the current phenomenon, reports the long queues, much as it is frustrating, offers business opportunities for others who take their trade to the frustrated vehicle owners who sometimes have to be at the DVLA premises all day long.
A kinky shop, a drinking spot right behind, and even a second-hand clothes dealer. These are things that will not usually be associated with vehicle licensing. But the sheer number of people who gather here at the beginning of every year only to have their vehicles registered for the number for that particular year mean this place, which is the offices of the DVLA, is a hub for brisk activities, buying and selling. And the result of that is the sheer number of hours that you have to wait to get your vehicle registered and the frustration that comes with it.
I was here since 6 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, I was here 6 o'clock in the morning and we're queuing. They called some cars, I think 150 cars, and then now they have stopped the cars. They say when they finish the first batch before they will call us. So we are still in the queue waiting. Yeah.
So you've been here from 6 o'clock. It's now just about 11 past 11. How has this affected your day? What would you be usually doing on a day like this?
Okay. By the way, as for the day, as so far as I'm in the queue now, then I think I waste all the day here now today. Yeah. By the way.
Getting my vehicle and through the queue, you have to go round and join the queue to this side. It's too much. It will take you about from 37, the shopping mall, the max something over there, to this side. It could take you about 30 or 40 minutes to even join the main gate. And even when you get to the main gate, you cannot get access to the entrance. You have to go past the police station, turn and come and join a queue to the car port at the back of the vehicle, the license office, and join another queue inside. And I'm even the 2.5 hours, I've not even gotten anywhere. I'm still in the queue. You know, I have to be at the office. I need to do this one way or the other, and and I'm standing here. So my boss, what are they going to talk?
In terms of the registration and then the cars that come here, it happens every year, and we see a pile-up of cars. People that I've spoken to say they take so many hours here trying to get through the process. What is the authority doing to streamline the process so that it doesn't always have to take this long for people to be here during this time of the year?
We started inspecting some of the vehicles around September, those who decide not to register their vehicles in the previous year. Then also, we have put in place a system where when you come, we give you a slip. And then when we exhaust the number of vehicles that we can register in a day, we inform those remaining that if this is what we can take on in the day. So we make it the next day. Then also, since the number of people will increase here, definitely there will be that sort of misbehavior. So we have sought the assistance of the police. So when you look around, you will see the presence of the police, which is also helping us. These are some few measures we have put in place, and it is really working out well. Our yard inside here is also very small. We have a park around here. We have sought the assistance of those people, and they have given us the place to use. So when we inspect your vehicle, you go there and then you go and park. Once you bring your documents in here, and then we process it for you. By so doing, you could see that there's a lot of space in here, and everybody is very free to move. These are some few measures we have put in place, which is working perfectly well.
As people that I've spoken to say they take so many hours here trying to get through the process.
Once people decide to stop registration of their vehicles, when it gets into the close of the year, definitely what we are seeing now, we'll continue to see it. Because if you bring in your vehicle and then around September, you refuse to register the vehicle, waiting to come and register it in the first week of January, then definitely there will be the pressure you are seeing. As at now, we can register 200 vehicles in a day, and we cannot take above that. So if you are here and then we take the 200, then we only plead with you that you come the next day.
So there's also news that there's been increments in your charges, some of the charges that you take. Can you brief us on what the details are?
We have not increased our rate. We have the private testing station. These private testing stations are private organizations who are having equipment to test vehicles. Now we have roped them in to test the vehicles on behalf of the authority. And then they presented to Parliament increment in their rate. And that is what has been approved and they are taking now. So it is the private testing stations which has got the increment for the service that they render to the vehicle owners.
So the authority hasn't hiked any of its charges?
No.
So what does that mean? That if do I have options for car owners who wants to go through the process, they have to pay more? Is that what you're saying?
No, your vehicle must be inspected. So in inspection, what we mean by inspection is they check whether your lights are working, your trafficator, your brake, your horn. That is total inspection of the vehicle. And that is the fee they take at the private station, which has been increased.
Wow. So if you think you have a new vehicle, you want to register, perhaps you can wait early part of 2070, you can do that. That means you have to drive for the next 12 months, though. And that way for the news. But when we come back, we'll be looking at what the stories are on the front and back pages of the newspapers. And foremostly, we'll have to turn attention to myjoyonline.com. And they have all those stories summarized there for us. And then also we'll look at other news portals on the continent as well as other parts of the world, so to speak. But in the meantime, always make sure you get interactive. Join us on TV is a page on Facebook. We have a WhatsApp number, and it is 056800,000. Many of you are already sending a lot more of those messages. We'll relay a lot more of them to you in the course of the whole program. But we're taking a break. When we come back, the newspapers with Gladys Oredu. Do stay on.